a lot of people are kind of down on our offense, down on Hartline, saying maybe he don't have the experience as a coordinator. But like you stated, we was up 20-0. What
Yeah.
else do you want from? I don't have a problem being up 20-0, trying to figure things out. Illinois never was a threat to win this game. They never had the lead.
Never.
They never was one score away with the ball and attacking or anything of that nature. So to me, as an offense, you did what you needed to do. You got up 20-0. Third quarter came out. Illinois got a little momentum. They scored a touchdown. You know what we did? We scored a touchdown right back. And essentially, by the time the fourth quarter came, the game was over. So Illinois get a
Right.
touchdown late, and whatever. The game was out of hand at that point. As an offense, it's not. We're not about to just go out there and just score 70 a week. We love the highlights. We love the explosive plays, but sometimes they're not there. It's more important that you just continue to execute and do the right things and not make mistakes. This is a game here. This game turned down to turnovers. Like I said, Illinois had a lot of driving to do.
Yeah.
They outgained us as a yard, as an offense, but they had 3 turnovers. We had no turnovers. So we was able to kind of capitalize off their mistakes. And also had a punter that took a knee, basically, would look like a turnover. They had the punter take a knee. This all that stuff equals to us scoring points and them not scoring it. So to me, there's no issue with the offense. Do we need to be cleaner in the red zone? Maybe make it look a little bit easier when scoring touchdowns in certain situations. Yes, but overall, to me, this is not a game where I'm like, oh, offensively, we need to step it up. What are we doing? Why are we running the ball so much on first down? I'm not on that side of things.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because there's been a lot of talk. I think we're running the ball a lot on early downs. We're very predictable. I went and looked at the run pass, the play by play, and in every quarter it's been equal run and pass on first down, except the third quarter. The third quarter was the only one where you had more runs, and basically in the third quarter we had a long drive, 7 minute drive, and scored a touchdown. All right, so those runs didn't affect us in no way, shape, or form. I do think there's this feeling of we need to have a more explosive offense, and when we don't have a more explosive offense, it feels like we're not having good offense, which is is weird. I mean, we look up on the scoreboard, it's 20-0, but man, those 20 points just didn't feel like they came as easy as they should. It to me is a little bit problematic. Obviously it doesn't necessarily affect the team, but just the perception I think is off. I will say this: in the red zone, there seems to be a desire to just run the ball in, right? To not focus too much on spreading it out, trying to find guys in the pass. Really start with running the ball in, and then once we really kind of show that we can go straight ahead, then getting our receivers in one-on-ones, which I'm fine with. I think with a young quarterback, I think they're still kind of working through that red zone offense. Outside of the red zone offense, though, I think the offense has been good. The one thing that's a little different, huddling up, not a lot of up tempo, which to me is fine. I think you got a young quarterback. You still got to bring that young guy along. And I don't care about scoring 70 points. Listen, this is a mistake. You go score 70 points versus Illinois. You go score 70 points versus Ohio U. And then you go play against Michigan. And all those, screen pass, those deep balls, all that stuff, they figure out a way to stop that, and they forced you to drive up the field and take what the defense is giving you, run the ball. They stay with too high safety, and you can't do it. And then you put yourself in a position on third down where you're in third and long. You got to get the first down, then you get stopped, and then they're able to go on long drives and score. That's how you lose a game. You got to be able to build a foundation on being able to execute the simple things. And I think if I was to pinpoint maybe the area of most improvement, I do think the run game does need some improvement. I think those tight ends that we use a lot of, and see some blocks missed, and not being able to execute to perfection there. And I think the running backs just need to be better at the end of the day.
Yeah,
The line
yeah,
looks good
yeah,
to me.
right. Yeah, no. I think I agree with all those points. I feel like our so far it has shown that our best back is Bo Jackson, who's a true freshman. And, we have to, once again, I think he had a solid game 10 carries, 4.7 a carry, nothing to sneeze at. yes, we could get a little bit more out of our other guys. They need to kind of pick and take some chances on making guys miss, and making guys miss, and then kind of excelling and things of that nature. To Donaldson, he scored 2 touchdowns. So I think that was like 1 yard run. So maybe he could have got a
Yeah.
little more. I don't know, but he scored the touchdown, which is the ultimate goal of that play. He was able to get that and achieve. So I don't know, man. I just think. I think you said this as a defense. What's the one thing you don't want to do in the red zone? How you don't want to give up a score if you're gonna give up a score?
You don't want them to run it in. You can't let the
Exactly.
offense run
So,
it in.
so if we're going to practice one thing, like let's get good at that, right? And then maybe
Right.
that would kind of loosen up the other things, and we can make maybe make some more flashier touchdowns to appease Buckeye Nation. But if we're scoring touchdowns, we need to. If we're up by 20-0, I don't know. I feel like overall we did our job. But I will say this because this is one point here that Coach Day said in the presser. And it's probably and obviously this is the first game. Once again, we didn't have the most yards, and then also we had 2 touchdowns. And was able to score 2 touchdowns against us. And he kind of just went to the fact that we went to the locker room. Guys was just due to leadership. Was maybe feeling a little bit down, maybe not as fired up as used to. And he had to kind of remind the team, like, hey, this was a ranked team on the road. This is a very good win. Feel good about the way you performed. Yes, we got some things to improve on. We're halfway through the season right now at this point. We will continue to improve. We'll continue to grow. But hey, this is a good win against a good team who had you circled. You had to know
Yeah, right.
Illinois, who had a lot of high hopes this season, had Ohio State circled on their schedule, and they figured if they could get a win today, they could really boost themselves in the opportunity to make the playoffs, especially after coming off a big loss, like we said, to Indiana a few weeks before.